Haman. Thank you for coming to my channel and accept the invitation
Of course.
to
Yeah, of course.
share with the world and with
Yeah.
the Pi system integrator, all that. I think they would like to hear more about other systems out there, right? And then how those
Yeah.
data get into the Pi. What do your company do and what is your superpower?
Yeah, so the Atlas Corps of Engineers, we are Siemens PCS7 integrator. We do Siemens PLC stuff as well, but primarily we're focused on larger Siemens PCS7 installs, large distributed control systems. We end up working with auxiliary systems as well that our customers have as well, but our focus is PCS7.
Just like me, just
It's what
Pi,
we're
right?
Yeah, right.
Uh,
I found out earlier that it's best to specialize. You just do a better job if you're specialized than if you try to do everything. So,
what specific incident inspired you to start your business?
so my father was a small business owner. He actually had several small businesses. So I grew up in a small business household.
Mm,
So, it's kind of like this entrepreneurial spirit, I guess. But I think, I was working for a mining company,
mhm.
and I changed jobs from the mining company to an integrator, and I was working a lot of really long, really hard hours. I was traveling a lot, and I wasn't seeing any change in my compensation for how hard I worked. So I decided, let's not. I was like breaking my back for someone else, and I decided that maybe I could do a better job, honestly, with it as well. Because I think the company I worked for there did not have any end user experience. No one who was there had ever been an end user, which is where I started my career, and they didn't sympathize with how hard it is to be in that position to try to make those deadlines, production requirements. They didn't have the culture of sympathy for the customer that I think I had in me.
Mhm.
So yeah,
So you
yeah,
want to change that when you hire the people, and you want to
right,
not do that,
right,
right?
yes,
Yeah,
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 right,
yeah. Makes
yeah.
sense.
I look out for my employees first and foremost, but we try to do right by the customer,
Hmm.
sometimes against their will.
All right, no, that's great, great. I think it's a learning journey to me. When I start my business, I got to learn things that I can never get to in the company. So
Right,
yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
the growth for me, for me at least.
Yeah, it is. It's actually a step that's like a little begrudging for me because I enjoy being an engineer more than I enjoy being a business manager.
Hmm.
I'm an engineer first and foremost, and like
Yes.
running a business is not that doesn't have the same appeal to me as
Hmm.
solving problems. And when you solve a problem and you make something work, that's like the best feeling.
Yes.
When I do my taxes, it feels
Oh yeah,
like,
those then you need to outsource them, right? Like you need to someone to
yeah,
do it
right,
for you, right?
right,
And maybe stay with what you are good at. Why you choose the business you are in? I guess we're touching on that, but can you tell me a little bit more about that? Why you choose PCS7? Are you because
oh yeah,
you were working as a PCS7 engineer?
yeah. So I was working on PCS7 in my initial role, and that was where I had the most experience.
Oh.
Then working for the other integrator, I did get a lot of experience on a lot of other platforms, and I really saw the value of PCS7 relative to those platforms. Every problem has the right tool, and PCS7 isn't the right tool for a lot of those problems. I mean, PCS7 is very good at larger installs that have to maintain very strict standards that are going to be very well disciplined. When you have a machine that stamps widgets and it's only got 100 IO points, PCS7 is not a good fit. But if you have a huge refinery with 3,000 I/O points, then PCS7 is an excellent fit. It's very powerful.
You're saying when there's more data, PCS7 might be a better fit. If it is just a few hundreds, it's not a good fit. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it is just very expensive to implement at smaller scales. But the bulk engineering tools and the ability to manage massive amounts of I/O, massive amounts of hardware, alarming, graphic generation, and standardization across it is very valuable to have those tools. Whereas when you only have a couple I/O points, it's not.
Yep.
It's just a lot of money.
Same as Pi,
actually. That being said, if somebody wants to spend the money, then it's totally fine. Yeah, Pi is another thing. It just doesn't scale down to very small applications like small machine.
I think the smallest one I see so far is 2010.
Oh yeah.
2010 Pi server. Anyway.
Yeah.
So what's your company core value? Switch a little bit.
Yeah.
It's casual this interview, right? So.
Yeah. I think we have, I guess, two sets of competing core values. I mean, I think first and foremost we need to take care of the customer. I just try to do right by the customer. There's always so many things that come up, and I just try to do my best to give the customer what they need to succeed.
And the attention.
Sometimes it's very hard sometimes. We try to give them everything we can, and honestly, if I can give the customer what they need so that they can operate independently without us, and that's what makes them most successful, then I will absolutely facilitate that. We do have our company core values internally. I have a lot that I've learned from my prior experience, operating on my own and working for others. Sometimes in this business, you end up on your own very late at night with the plant breathing down your neck, trying to get it up and running, and you can't resolve a problem. The amount of stress that causes, my objective is to never put anyone in that spot, to try to just always be there for each other and try to support one another so that no one is left stranded.
That's good. Don't want people burn out and all that, right?
Yeah. Right. Right.
What I notice is if there's people that really good at it, and then they just do it like magic, right? And then there are people just struggling, calling tech support all the time. They don't know what they're doing, and then they spend more hours, right? So.
Right. Yeah, and my objective is to keep. I mean, obviously, people need to learn, and people need to struggle to get over that
a little
hump,
bit,
and really, a little bit. There's a little trial by fire, but I just don't want people to have to reinvent the wheel the way I did, because it kills you. It really does. It's just,
Can you describe your leadership style to me?
Sure. I think
because I'm also you are my client. I want to know that too.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm always trying to be there with my people as much as I can. It's getting harder, as the company grows, to always be able to be next to people, but I don't ever just want to send people off to fight a battle alone. I would like to be there to support them as much as possible. Unfortunately, as we get bigger, my personal support for them is not as great as it could be, but I always try to make it
how many people are in your company
or
right
you.
now? Yeah. How many engineers?
10? 10, So I try to make it us and not me or you. It's always us, we work together. This is our problem. We will solve it together.
So you are the 10 people manager right now, right? Everyone go to you every
week. We distribute responsibility. We have a dynamic hierarchy, I guess. So the most senior engineer on the project is always the lead engineer, and sometimes that means that he has more experienced engineers. He or she has more experienced engineers working below them, because that person knows what's going on in the project. Even if there is a more experienced engineer, they may be able to provide feedback and stuff, but that one person is the most understanding of what's
The
going
plan
on.
of
Yeah.
because
And if
they
he
had,
needs,
yeah,
yeah, and if he or she needs to pull more experience in, then they can, but those people will still work for the lead engineer, because
makes sense.
that dynamic keeps the customer focused on a single point of contact, and allows any person to pull in the resources they need to complete the project as best they can,
Make a
without
lot
having
of
to call on,
sense.
say, a senior engineer, like call on their boss for help or something.
Yeah,
Like, everybody works for you when you're running the project.
yeah,
Yeah, so
make a lot of
that's
sense. I have to put it down like on, but I have to write it down actually. This is what I need to implement as well, right? So,
yeah. I
um,
came up with that, and I'm
you
still
just came out with that?
I don't know. It seems to be working. Seems to be working well. I think
Yeah,
it works. It's
yeah.
good. Yeah.
No, I heard something similar with another CEO that talked to me in the user conference, and he said he
No. No.
is doing something similar. So,
Mhm.
what upcoming initiative do you find most exciting?
That, like, we're taking, or that other
Yeah,
people are.
I guess like anything exciting about some new things from your company.
Oh, sure, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, we have a number of partnerships. We partner. I mean, we're a very small integration firm, but we have partnerships with really the largest integration firms in the country, and we do a lot of the larger companies' PCS7 work.
Mm,
Because it is what we're focused on and we're really good at. We subcontract for the larger firms, including Siemens. I mean, Siemens is obviously the technology provider that produces PCS7, and they do have their engineers, but we provide a level of flexibility and field experience that I think they lack. So, I mean, a lot of people utilizing a lot of other integrators still end up inadvertently using Atlas, because we're just subbing for the bigger guys, because they have the customers and they have the resources, and that saves me from having to deal with a sales team. I have no sales team. Uh,
yes.
we get our business through word of mouth and by just trying to do the best job we can.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
getting back to what you're asking,
Yeah.
the initiatives we're looking for, we have several large initiatives coming up, working with semiconductor manufacturers, working with Siemens and several other large integrators that are very exciting. So,
Wow.
that, and then our customers have a lot of projects going on that are going to keep us very busy as we
Do they
continue
have a pie
to.
system and like those semiconductors company?
I don't know, actually. I mean, we have some new plants going in, so that they don't now for sure, but maybe they will. And if they do, they will be huge. So I know you'll like that. They'll
No.
be very
Appreciate.
big. Yeah.
No, yeah. Thanks for the heads up. And well, I guess talk about customer experience, right? And I like to know what your preferred styles looks like. So this question is like, what describe a great customer service experience that are good in the past that
Yeah.
makes you memorable.
When I was in high school and about halfway through college, I worked for a mechanic, Eisenbutts, and they did Porsche and Mercedes primarily, trying to fix people's cars. Some of them were very old, in various conditions. He always tried to do right by the customer. He always did everything he could to do a good job and
Can you give me
make sure the
more a
customer was
little
happy.
can you give me a little details on what he did to make you feel he did a little bit more than the like
Oh, sure,
yeah,
sure.
just
Yeah.
example.
He was always willing to work with the customer. Sometimes when you're troubleshooting something like a modern car, you think you resolve the problem, and then the car drives off, and then it comes back, and the problem still exists. Um, you know,
Oh,
he obviously paid for the technician to do the work and paid for the parts, and then the problem still persists. But that's the way troubleshooting is. Sometimes sometimes you think you have it and then you don't.
Yeah.
And then you do a small investment in what you think the problem is, and then it doesn't work out. And he was always very good about taking care of the customer in those situations, which is, I think, unique, especially for mechanics, because sometimes you drive your car away and the problem's still there, and you come back and they're like, "Yeah,
You're
sucks to
wasting
suck,"
time,
but,
right? Like this kind of like I don't know.
yeah, but he was very good about doing right by the customer in those applications or in those situations. So that's I think something I learned a lot from there is being honest and trying to do a good job. Definitely pays dividends because his customers always came back. He always,
Makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
I don't know. I just had a scenario. My mom broke his wrist, and then she find the wrong doctor,
Oh
and then
no.
that doctor tried to fix her wrist and try to put it back together, and then that doctor said claim is it's fixed, and then we go X-ray, it's not fixed. What the fuck, right?
Oh
Like what the?
no. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
That's
That's terrible.
yeah, that's terrible. But
That's
oh god.
oh my gosh.
Anyway, so
Yeah.
that's kind of like the problem with you don't know people you work with is good or not sometimes, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. You don't know, and I assume everybody's trying to do the best they can, but sometimes you got to find the people who are feeling their way through it, and the people who actually know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's how it is.